Yo. All right, so you gotta take back your innocence, man, because man, a lot of us when we were children, man, our innocence was taken away from us, meaning that sometimes, a lot of the times, you might, incarnate with a family. You could incarnate with at a specific geographical location. You incarnate at a religion. We have to understand one thing. We have to understand that people like power and control. And if I can have power and control over you by destroying you subconsciously, by gaslighting you, by shaming you, by manipulating you, by telling you you ain't shit. What if when you was younger, I could destroy who you think you are? What if there was something so great meant for you that you were supposed to assimilate throughout your experiences of life as you move forward? But what if this assimilation process of who you truly are and the experiences that will truly resonate with you and actually cause you to grow has been hijacked? Meaning that a lot of us have been replaced. That's right, a lot of us have been replaced. Like me, when you was younger, someone imprinted their energy by force, meaning that there was a perceived negative event that took place. And that perceived negative event, because that person near you, whether it's your family member, whether it's your friends, whether it's the religion you're in, whether it's the political system, whether it's the education, it was repeated energetically and intensely. When you do repetition, what happens? You build up momentum in that particular area. So what if someone around you had a negative pattern that affected you, and that effect is still being played out by you, meaning that you're generating thoughts and feelings that resonate on a low vibrational level, that is actually causing you to resonate with people, places, and things and habits that are low vibrational in nature because of the lack of ability to process that particular event, that particular trauma, that particular challenging situation, that particular perceived challenge, right? A lot of people go through these situations, and what happens when those events take place? We forget about who we are. We forget about what's valuable to us. We forget about what's important to us. We forget about what truly matters to us in the world. And we make something else in the world matter more than us. So for me, for example, what mattered more than my fucking life was making other people happy, being a people pleaser, making sure that I take on the thoughts and feelings that other people wanted me to. Because when I was younger, I was kind of like, it's like, people don't know what you're doing. Because you have to understand this one thing, man. When you're a human, when you're a spirit born to a human body, you have to understand this really well, that you're dealing with the race of the fallen. And what do the fallen do? And I don't mean it from the perspective of astrology, because astrology has the perspective of fall, which is just letting go the energy of Uriel. Shout out to Archon Uriel and shit like that. And then you also have the people that don't want to allow themselves to become lighter, meaning that they fall into their negativity, they fall into this accumulation of energy, which is dark in nature, which is actually just an accumulation of unprocessed trauma, unprocessed feelings, right? Because a lot of times people can give you their lens of viewing the world, and you're forced to look at the world that way. But your spirit is pulling you out of that. A lot of the times we try to be among people, places, and things that don't truly match who we are, and the universe and ourselves, we create events and shit like that to sabotage those things. Because you gotta really ask yourself, do you really value yourself? And then, okay, if you value yourself, you have to take actions that demonstrate that you value yourself. So if you're marrying someone that's, I don't want to say necessarily below your standard, but not on the same awareness level, then you may not necessarily value yourself because you're stepping down from your level. And there's nothing wrong with stepping down to help women. There's nothing wrong with stepping down to help, men or people, nothing like that. But you got to go back to your level, and you got to stay at your level, because at that level, there's a level even beyond that and shit like that, right? So a lot of the times we lose our childhood innocence because somebody takes it from us. And that innocence is what makes us a child. That innocence is what makes us beautiful. That innocence is what makes us connect with, because it has to do with the fifth house, right? In astrology, how you have fun, how do you have entertainment, and then Leo is just the fixated point of summer. So that's when the sun is having fun, giving life to things. So what is it that you give life to? Do you give life to death? And if you're giving life to death, maybe we're far away from our childhood innocence. Because if we're doing things, if we're thinking and feeling things that are not like, I don't want to basically high vibrational in nature, kind of like like ideal. I don't want to say ideals, just standards that are beyond the operation of the realm that we are in. Because the realm that we are in makes us settle to patterns that are devalued, basically. Like, we just devalue ourselves. We do things, hang out with people, speak things into existence that truly demonstrate that we don't have any value in ourselves. So that's how the world gets us to go, exoterically, and we get lost in the outside world outside of us, the lights, the illusions. A lot of the times, you can perceive a girl that you love. Oh, she's the love of your life. You're a girl, you can perceive a man. You're like, OMG, he's the man. But, nigga, homie, cheese, who told you that's even your thoughts? A lot of the times, you get those thoughts from a television program. You get those thoughts a lot of times from movies. A lot of times, you get those standards, you get those ideals from who you've been raised by. You don't really get those standards, those ideals, because it's actually your highest possible good. So we resonate with things really to cope with our lives. You can resonate with drugs that are bad for you to cope. Now, I'm not saying drugs are bad. I'm just saying, like, if you do something and you can't handle it, then why even do it, right? But why do we even do something that we can't even handle, right? It's just because, like, we perceive like we need it. We perceive that something is scarce. We need something. But that's the thing, though. It's an energy that people are in. The more you are in need, the more you will continue to manifest being needy. Because being needy is an energy. It's a vibe. It's like an urge. It's an energy surge that says something is missing, right? And it puts you in situations, people, places, and things that are not in your favor. And you have to understand that that becomes, over time, that becomes a neurological network. That becomes a group of thoughts and feelings that are agreeable. So that creates a pathway for a particular group of spirits to travel. And we have to learn to detach from those group of spirits, because a lot of the times when we're stuck inside of our childhood wounds, when we're stuck inside of the things that prevent us from really moving forward, because really we are living life from a space that is hurt. We're living from life from a space that's unfulfilled. We live life from a space that's just not really coherent with who we truly are. And the only way we could resonate that way is if we lost our child self, meaning that you could be forced to become an adult really quickly. Why? Because you need to survive. Someone put you in survival mode. They didn't put you in thrival mode. And that is how the system is ran. This system puts you in survival mode. It does not put you in thrival mode. The only people that are in thrival mode are the people that run the system, but they understand how to run the system. It's ran based on fear. It's ran based on worry. It's ran based on doubt. It's ran based on anger. It's ran based on hate. It's ran based on a greater demon running a lesser demon and stuff like that. At work, when you go see your manager, not most of the time, depends on how they got there. So it's just family connections, blah, 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 who gives a fuck. But if they kind of like got there themselves, but it just depends. Like, you have to use your own discernment to see this. You'll probably 99% of the time see that you have a greater demon running a bunch of lesser demons, because they on a leash. They being gaslit and they accepting it. That's the crazy part, though. So that's the thing. We can have emotions right now. You can carry emotions right now, thoughts and feelings that are gaslighting you, triggering you. When you go experience something you've never been experienced before, when you want to go talk to that girl that you've never talked before, you want to go do this, X, Y, and Z, something is going to trigger you inside of you and tell you, nah, don't step into that. Because you're trying to step into your power. But something's not going to allow you to step into your power. And that's the negative habit pattern that we're dealing with that prevents us from what? Stepping into our innocence, our child inner self, to actually be joyful, to actually create life, to actually just enjoy yourself. This world doesn't let you enjoy yourself. Think about it. You're born, you're given a religion, your mom and dad have expectations for you. You have all these external variables that are piled onto you, and no one ever sits back and asks, hey, how are you being? Everyone says, yo, what are you doing? Are you paying the bills? Yo, what are you doing? You come to work today? Hey, girl, what are you doing? You trying to go out with us? We trying to talk shit about them niggas. Them niggas that ain't good for no relationship? Yeah, girl, they ain't shit. So it's like, we live in a world that is ran on a disposition that is non-beneficial for most people. But most people are still not getting outside of that programming, that software that has been installed in their hardware, that has created a manifestation of a biological adrenaline formula inside of them that is constantly replicating and duplicating their character of who they are. So let me ask you this. If you're replicating chemicals inside of your body that says be scared, be worried, be afraid, life is hard, then you really gotta sit back and ask yourself, well, maybe you have some shadow work. Maybe you have something to let go of, so it can allow a room for something new to come into our lives, basically. If we don't make room, if we don't make space, I'm in my room right now. If I don't make space in my room for new furniture cannot come in, or at least I may not necessarily have the proper space to utilize it to its maximum capacity and stuff like that. And that's the thing. We have things that are operating inside of our space on a below subconscious level that most people don't want to go within themselves and deal with those things and really, really make their demons their own bitch. Because fear should be your bitch. Anger should be your bitch. Hate should be your bitch. In fact, love should be your bitch. Because look, we're just spirit. We're none of those emotions. We're just passing those things. We create those things. Now, there's nothing wrong with those things because those things are just things that we are using to create our experiences of life. But when you take a look at your own personal natal chart, we start to look at your own energies. We start to understand what do you personally correspond with and stuff like that. You start to see that there's a particular pattern of energies that you're playing out. Now, either you do it on a negative scale or a positive scale. Let's say, for example, let's say you have a lot of sun energy in your chart. You can either be an extreme individual. You like to be yourself and stuff like that. You don't like to relate too much to other people. That could be perceived as Aries. Very passionate about who they are and stuff like that. Or that could be perceived as Leo, very expressive about who they are and stuff like that, right? Because the sun is in different positions and shit like that in astrology. So it creates different characteristics, aspects, and stuff like that. So you have to, so you could be an individual or you could be extremely selfish, right? So you have to really, really analyze yourself and you have to truly, truly get to know yourself. And when you get to know yourself, you start to see, God damn it, what triggers me? You have to look at your experiences and really look at your experiences. What is it that you don't want to experience anymore? Because there's a repeated pattern in your life that you've been experiencing again and again and again, right? And when you look at that pattern, you got to ask yourself, damn, do I like the manifestation of that pattern in my external world? And then you got to ask yourself, okay, I have to go within and deal with those internal thoughts and feelings, those repetitive patterns that weave our reality subconsciously, so we can actually free up ourselves so we can begin to create a new reality for ourselves. So we can be the one to plug in those A and B's. Better yet, you can just let go of these things and allow yourself to be in a clear space, aka clairvoyance, and then you can begin to actually calculate per moment, per space, what you actually need to do. Because who said that you even need an idea, a logical concept about how life should go? You just live in the present, live in the moment. But how many people live in the present, right? People live in the past or people live in the future. No one actually really, really, really lives in the present. Think about it. Most people walk around, I gotta get my bills. I gotta pay I gotta get the groceries. The wife is pissed off. I gotta go pray to Jesus. The mosque, I gotta go to Allah. People are breathing in all these expressions, all these conscious forms of awareness without asking themselves, what is important to you? What does that actually trigger in you? That's gonna trigger stress, worry, doubt, which is not a positive response to, chemically wise for the body, because it probably makes you deteriorate at a faster rate, aka atrophy, right? So you have to really, really ask yourself what is important to you. You gotta ask yourself what is valuable to you. Because at the end of the day, that's already a part of your lost innocence. And to retrieve that, you have to do the shadow work. There's no other way around it. And you have to be accountable for the everyday work. Because every day is gonna be work. And the universe is gonna put you in situations to see, can you handle this? Did you really change it? And if you can't handle this, and if you didn't really change it, you're gonna keep going through the same situations. You have to be a firefighter. You have to be a demon slayer. You have to be a devil slayer, because you're going to get people, places, and things that are going to try to make you compromise. They're going to try to make you be okay with reality, the version of it that they have in their mind that they are biased towards. And you're going to have to let them know that you do not stand with that version of reality, and you're going to create your own reality because you're taking your life back. You're taking your power back. That's right. Love you all from God That Battle in my heart. Gonna make more videos about gaining back your innocence, because that's really important, man. Because I know as someone who lost their innocence at a young age, I had to fight for it. And family, friends, a lot of those things are just manifestations of our negative habit pattern that we accumulated. That's why if your life right now, if you're not experiencing things mostly going in your favor, you're having experiences that you do like, then it's like you're still kind of in the old cycle. You're still recycling that old Ouroboros, that snake that's regenerating and degenerating your reality, and you have to be able to edit that halo and get rid of it and shit like that. But with that being said, peace out.